night's campfire claim sounds like it escaped from a paranoid Cold War paperback and then got a government form stapled to its face. October 24th, 1968. Minot Air Force Base, North Dakota. Missile fields in the dark. A B-52 in the air. Men on the ground reporting a bright orange-red light. The bomber crew getting pulled into the search. Radar returns, radio weirdness, scope photos, and, because reality apparently wanted the deluxe package, a missile site alarm and lock detail sitting off to the side like it knows exactly what it is doing. So the question is not just, did somebody see a UFO? The question is, did one strange thing move through that whole night? Or did several ordinary things get braided together so tightly that Blue Book handed us a campfire monster with paperwork? The first reason Minot is worth our time is that it is not just a guy in a field saying, "Trust me, bro, the sky got weird." The Project Blue Book file classifies the event as air radar, air visual, and ground visual. That is the good stuff. Not proof, but good narrative calcium. The case has bones. The B-52 memo is the page where the story starts leaning forward. It says a bomber crew was on a practice penetration northwest of Minot when a target appeared on radar. The description gets spicy fast, a radar blip, apparently moving at absurd speed, then taking up a position off the aircraft. The memo also says the crew photographed the scope, and that 2 transmitters failed while the target was close, then came back after it broke away. That does not mean aliens. It does mean this case is not powered by vibes alone. On the ground, security and maintenance personnel report a bright orange-red object, low, weird, hovering or moving in a way they did not like. One account has it followed, accelerating, stopping, then dropping away. Another part of the file says a B-52 was vectored toward a visual report and confirmed a bright light near the ground. And then there is Major Pardon, the B-52 pilot, who later described seeing a bright orange ball near or on the ground while turning toward landing. That is the human lens. People doing military jobs on a cold North Dakota night, suddenly trying to decide whether the thing in front of them is aircraft, star, weather, equipment, or something that is going to make the next phone call very annoying. So, before we go full campfire, ground lights, bomber, radar, radio trouble, scope photo claims, and a missile field setting. Everybody got their flashlights? Great. Let us make this bad decision cinematic. Picture the night first. Not a glossy UFO poster night. A Cold War work night. Haze in the air. Wind low. The missile field sitting out there in the dark like the whole landscape is trying not to breathe. Somewhere on the ground, a bright orange-red light appears. Not a detailed craft. Not a chrome dinner plate with mood lighting. Just a light that should be easier to explain than it is. The men watching it are not professional wonderhavers. They are military personnel around a nuclear weapons environment. Their job is not to be enchanted. Their job is to be bored, alert, and correct. Then the B-52 enters the story. The crew is asked to look for an orange light. The transcript gets messy. There is a garbled response. There's haze. They cannot always see what the radar or the ground seems to be talking about. Then the radar tension hits, an object reported 3 miles at 1 o'clock. The kind of phrase that is boring until you imagine hearing it in a cockpit at night. And then, at roughly the same cluster of time, the file says the aircraft loses transmission to the tower. This is where the campfire version grabs you by the jacket. Because if you are imagining that cockpit, the story is suddenly not, there is a weird light somewhere. It is, the weird thing is, close enough to talk about in relative position, the radio is acting up. And everybody below is also looking at the dark. The wild version has the object pacing or confronting the aircraft. It sits off the wing in the mind because that is what the memo makes easy to imagine. The huge bomber moves through the haze, while something small and bright refuses to behave like background. Below, the missile field is still there. That is the part this case has that a lot of UFO stories do not: geography with consequences. Then Major Parton sees the orange ball near or on the ground. Not a galaxy cruiser. Not a creature reveal. An orange ball. That may sound smaller, but it is creepier. It means the weirdness is not only up there, it is down there, in the same world as roads, fences, buildings, locks, and people with orders. And then the file gives us the missile site alarm and lock detail. Now, to be clear, we are not allowed to connect that like a conspiracy corkboard just because it feels good. As campfire texture, though, come on. That is premium grade unsettling. Okay, breathe. That was the monster movie version. Now we do the unglamorous part where reality walks in with a clipboard and ruins the party for everyone. The file itself starts asking the questions a good skeptic should ask. What were the exact observation times? What was the B-52 speed? What was checked on radar, ECM, Rapcon, SAGE? Could the ground light have been a car, aircraft, or something local? What about the missile site alarm history? This matters because Minot is not one clean observation. It is a stack of observations. Stacks are powerful, but stacks are also where mistakes breed. The witness material is also less visually generous than the campfire version. One sketch says no shape could be seen. Another gives tiny angular-size clues. The transcript has garbled moments. Haze matters. Inversions matter. Scintillation matters. People can be sincere and still be looking at something ordinary under rotten viewing conditions. And Blue Book did not exactly treat this like the mothership had just tapped on the window. The official handling includes a sense of, get a preliminary report, calm people down, this does not appear too unusual, which is either reassuring, dismissive, or very funny in the way only government paperwork can be funny. The official solution stack is not one answer. It is several answers wearing one trench coat. For the ground witnesses, Blue Book leans toward ordinary sources. Aircraft, bright celestial bodies, possibly Sirius or other first-magnitude stars seen through haze and inversion. That is not ridiculous. Bright stars near the horizon can shimmer, pulse, change color, and look like they are doing tiny haunted push-ups. For the air radar and air visual side, the file uses plasma or ball lightning class language. That is the more interesting official move. It is not just Venus did it. It is more like maybe there was an atmospheric or electrical phenomenon that could paint radar and affect some electronics. Then there is the equipment or radar possibility. Radar is not a magical truth machine. Weather, internal returns, propagation, and interpretation can make clean stories messy. The B-52 itself or other aircraft or ground lights could explain some reported lights. The missile site lock detail is specifically not treated as related in the official conclusion, so the skeptic's version is not boring. It is a pile of plausible things: stars, haze, aircraft, ground lights, radar behavior, possible plasma language, and a lock incident that may have wandered into the wrong campfire story. But here is the annoying part. Plausible is not the same as satisfying. The residue is the timing cluster. If this was several ordinary things, they arrived in a very dramatic window. Ground personnel are seeing lights. The B-52 is pulled in. Radar is involved. Transmitter trouble is claimed. Scope photos are mentioned. The pilot later reports a bright orange ball near or on the ground. None of that proves aliens. It does keep the case from collapsing into a simple, everybody saw a star explanation. But the reverse is also true. The missing details, haze, small angular sizes, witness uncertainty, and official questions keep the alien version from becoming clean evidence. Minot is sticky because both sides have something real to hold. Believers get official paper with radar, radio, aircraft, and missile field strangeness. Skeptics get a messy stack of ordinary explanations and a file that admits the observations are not as clean as the movie in your head. That is why it works as a campfire story. Not because it proves the wildest answer, but because the tame answers have to work harder than usual. Mason verdict? As an alien case, Minot is strong campfire material and incomplete evidence. As a debunk, it is plausible but patchwork. It explains pieces. It does not make the whole night feel simple. My read, the safest answer is that multiple things probably braided together: bright celestial objects, haze, military aircraft or ground lights, radar, weather, and equipment behavior, and maybe some atmospheric weirdness that Blue Book did not fully nail down. But the reason this case still has teeth is that it happened around a B-52 and a missile field. Inside an official file with phrases like radar, photos, transmitter failure, orange ball, and sequence of events, that is not proof of visitors. It is proof that some nights are very good at becoming legends.